Hey guys, welcome back. In this video, we're going to refuel my bike. As spring is approaching, I'm going to clean everything up, grease things up, and make sure everything is in the right order. I'll also be installing the 30 teeth oval. The reason I couldn't do that is because even with the 28 teeth, there's barely any clearance. So we're going to do this by adding a spacer on the drive side, and that should give the needed clearance. We'll also be cleaning up the bearing seals. It's been 3 years since I opened them. So we're going to start by removing the wheels. Once that's done, I'll remove the stem and then start taking off all these hoses. The main focus of the cleaning will be near the linkages, the drivetrain, both the wheels and the bottom bracket area. This cassette will be removed and given a really thorough clean, and including the wheel. Here's a little trick. If you have a 180mm post mount bracket and you want to put a 2 or 3mm rotor, then use this 20mm bracket but add 2 washers so it will give you just enough clearance so the rotor doesn't touch your caliper. Have something in place to catch all your parts. With the Shimano brakes, once you remove it, you see this little arrow. All you have to do is pinch and it will open up like that. So you don't need to remove your grips. On the right side, I didn't have the shifter with this kind of setup, so I have to remove the grip in order to remove it. Out comes one of the lightest fork on the market. The single biggest reason I prefer external routing is the ease with which you can install and remove the hoses. You can still make the bike look tidy as the Geometron does in this case. Let me know your preference though. Now it's time to clean all the little channels near the linkages as well as the bottom bracket area where all the dirt is trapped. Okay, focus there. Okay, good. And the chain stays, the inside and everything. First obviously we'll clean this up and then we'll grease the whole thing. Clean up the derailleur, it's actually pretty bad. We'll do that. And this one's recently serviced, but any excess grease, we'll clean this part up. It's especially near this bottom bracket area that is pretty dirty, so that's the one that will get a good clean. On a different note, I think I love biking not just because it's a dynamic sport and it gives me a chance to ride out in the nature, but also the fact that every bike is unique. I mean, your bike really needs to fit you. It's like the saddle on a horse, it needs to fit the rider, and all of these mechanical things we can tinker, change, modify, fit to our need. That gives a great joy in just fiddling with it with our own hands. And that's also the reason why I'm not very inclined towards electronic shifting or even e-bikes in general. Maybe if manufacturers release blueprints on how to service everything, I mean like changing the motor, etc., that could change my opinion. What do you think? Working on these ourselves is a big component why we enjoy sport. Absolutely not bad. Okay, look, there is still grease and absolutely no dirt. There's the same thing on the other side. This bike has a 4-way sealed bearings. I think that's a big factor why everything is so clean even after 3 years. I bought these off of Amazon. They are aluminum, they seem to be doing fine. So I'm just going to install these and see how it goes. Now the bottom bracket is one area I think we need to always clean and re-grease when servicing. That's because there's usually a drain hole at the bottom of the bike, so that area does tend to attract some dirt. That combined with any leftover thread blocker, that can get stuck on the threads, there's a very good chance you can cross thread it. So definitely do clean up and re-grease. Now here I'm changing my oval chainring. I'm using the bearing removal tool to hold the socket in place, and then that gives me the leverage to just use both my hands on the wrench. Now here you'll notice that there's less than 1 mm clearance with this 30 teeth oval chainring. So the solution for fix, if there is not enough clearance, is to add one more washer onto the drive side of the bottom bracket. You of course need to re-index at the end because you're actually changing the chain line with the setup, but it does give you the needed clearance that you'll notice in a bit by adding this extra washer. From this point on, it's a matter of just putting everything back into its place. Stay till the end if you like to see before and after pictures. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. You will notice that I'm installing a DBO fork, but I ended up changing it into a Marzocchi Bomber coil later on, 27.5. This is a DBO 160 mm 29 inch. I did change that to a 170 mm Marzocchi Bomber